So this video is actually inspired by something I seen on Dawid Does Tech Stuff. Oh! If you don't know about Dawid or his channel, I would recommend checking him out. He puts out some cool stuff. But not too long ago, he was doing a video where he was looking at this 46-inch monitor. And I remember sitting there thinking, wow, I mean, monitors are basically TVs at this point. And that really resonated with me because I used to use a 46-inch Sony Bravia in college for a monitor for years. I mean, back in the college days, I barely had enough money to rub two nickels together, let alone buy a nice fancy gaming PC and all the keyboard and monitors you could ever want. However, eventually I was lucky enough to save up enough money to buy like one of my first gaming PCs. I purchased a pre-built from CyberPower PC, and it worked good for a long time, but that was the whole budget. And so I decided I was gonna go onto Craigslist and look for a monitor, but what I came across was a dude selling a Sony Bravia for like 50 bucks. And I was like, wait a minute, 46-inch Sony Bravia, 50 bucks. And this was way back in like 2009-ish. I was like, that's a deal. And he said it worked, but it was broken. And he showed a picture of it, and essentially like a row of pixels down the middle just didn't work. And for some reason at the time, I was like, that looks like an easy fix. I mean, electronics, you pull them apart, you fix them, no big deal. So I reached out and I was like, hey, I'll give you $50 for that thing. And I went down there and got it. What was I thinking? Well, I got lucky on that one because I ended up taking the bezel off the TV and just randomly started poking around with the TV on. And I noticed that one of the ribbon cables that attached to the LCD screen, if you push down on it, those dead pixels would just light up, and it seemed like it would work perfectly. So I was like, man, if I order the proper parts for this, I could probably get myself a fully functioning Sony Bravia, which was a pretty expensive TV back there. That's not what I did. I essentially just took some electrical tape, I rolled it up into like a 10mm cylinder, I stuck it on that ribbon cable, and then I smashed the bezel over the top of it, and it worked. It actually still works. I have that TV upstairs in my room, and I still use it to this day. I've had no issues. I would love to tear it apart and kind of show you guys, or just take a look at what's going on in there to see how that tape job held up. But I'm afraid if I ever took it apart, it would like never work again. Anyways, I mean, we're getting a little off in the weeds, but what I'm getting at is I like big monitors. You other brothers can't deny that when a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. Now that I'm a grown up, I use a 34-inch ultra wide. This is 3440 by 1440. It has a curvature of 1900R. It's amazing. If you have the opportunity to buy yourself an ultra wide, I would highly recommend it. It is a game changer for gaming. I love this thing. But after seeing that video on that 46-inch monitor, I was like, how big are we gonna go? Like, is this gonna be like TVs where they just keep getting bigger and bigger, or do you reach a point where you get like some diminishing returns? What about this thing? This is my 86-inch LG 4K 120 Hertz TV. And after seeing that video, was thinking maybe this is where it's at. Maybe this will be an amazing monitor to game on. The only thing that might make it suck is that the response rate might be poor. I know it has a gaming mode. I just don't know how good that gaming mode is. I'm sure for console it's great, but I don't know how mouse and keyboard works. I did use this thing once for a racing sim, but I was pretty far back. But for a racing sim, it seemed okay. This close with mouse and keyboard, I don't know if it's going to be a good experience. Also, the other thing it has me worried is the pixels per inch. So like this monitor right here has a pixels per inch of like 110. This 4K TV at 86 inches has a pixel per inch of like 51. So I'm kind of worried everything's going to look like Minecraft up close. But I have the game open at this distance, and there's a little bit of a screen door effect, but it's not as bad as I thought. It's definitely better than the old Bravia, 1080p Bravia was back in the day. Now the first thing is the scale. Like, being this close to a TV this big, it feels immersive. Like, you just stare straight ahead, you almost cannot see the edges. Now, before we get going though, let's make sure we're actually running at 4K 120. Okay, looking back and forth, like Dawid said, I can see that might be a problem. 3840 by 2160, good. 122, 120, okay, 120. We're running at 4K 120. This should be, as long as the input lag's not horrible, should be a decent experience. I don't know where to put the camera, so I guess we'll just stare at the back of my head for a minute. Let's go to the training range. Oh, I have surround sound now. This would be headphones are cool, but surround sound might be better. Those speakers are pretty far back, but not too bad. I'm gonna be honest, I expected the input like be noticeable, but it seems pretty good. Almost the same as my ultra wide. At least I don't notice anything that different. The sound is like a different level. The headphones are cool, but actual surround sound is a different beast. Oh, missed him.
You tangled with the wrong man.
All right, let's hop in a real game and see what happens here. And if you're curious, my PC setup, it's a 3080 Ti and a 5950X, and then I think 64 gigs of RAM. So we'll see if it should be able to do Overwatch, pushing at least 120 FPS pretty easily. We'll see. I'm really surprised how sharp it looks, being this close to a TV this large. We're gonna go Widow, of course. Why not? The sound alone makes this almost worth it. Got him! No! Enemy Widow! If it was a little lower, it might be better, but this is not a bad experience at all. Basically, especially considering how bad I thought it was going to be. Oh no. Oh no, no. Oh no, 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 no. Oh no, no. Get wrecked, Widow. Got her! And I gotta go. Gotta go. Oh, jeez! So a shooter, I by far thought would be the worst possible setup for something like this, but I'm pleasantly surprised. You can kind of see a little bit of the screen door effect on the real close-up text, but it's way less than I thought it was going to be. The response, the latency doesn't seem bad. The response time seems good. We're at 120 FPS, so it feels smooth, and it's super immersive because we're just like, we're in it. We're in this Roadhog's life, and he's gonna kill us. Save me. I wish it was 165 hertz 4K TV, but I think that's asking a little too much. But 120 is not bad. It's way better than 60. Okay, I'm really surprised at how awesome that was. Let's try it. I would think of a setup like this being better for like a more casual type game, so I'm gonna try. I don't know what I got. I guess I got Heroes of the Storm. That seems like a pretty good one. I don't know how to play Dota, so I don't have that. Okay, this reminds me of like World of Warcraft. This would be a pretty good. This would be a pretty good WoW setup. Isn't there a new WoW coming out soon? Okay, it's been a minute since I played this. Hopefully, I'm not a detriment. Yeah, Overwatch was pretty good, but this is kind of what this is This is basically set up for a game like this. Also, a game like this, 120 hertz is perfect. Perfectly fine. 60 would be fine too for a game like this. Wow. I'm gonna be honest. Went into this thinking something like this, a setup like this would be absolutely garbage, but I'm pleasantly surprised. It's not. The input latency is good. Like, I don't notice the difference between this TV and my other gaming monitors. I'm sure it's not the same, but I don't perceive that big of a difference, especially in like a first-person shooter. A game like this, Heroes of the Storm, it doesn't matter at all, especially if you're also playing like a Diablo, a World of Warcraft. This is more than good enough. The pixel density, yeah, it's a little bit of an issue. It's definitely not as sharp as my gaming monitors. But again, even in Overwatch, it didn't bother me. And for a game like this, it still looks good. If anything, this has made me want to make an HT PC for this TV. And the sound system, I know it doesn't have anything to do with the TV, but it sounds so much more crisp than my gaming headphones, and I really like my gaming headphones. They're not like top tier, but I still really like them. But a setup like this is just at a different level. So yeah, I think I'll have to be building an HT PC here soon. I'll have to look at some parts and see how availability is nowadays, but I think it should be better. I don't know what the takeaway for this is. Will gaming monitors ever get this big? I highly doubt it, but they could. Who knows? I'm for it if it becomes a thing. I'm sure they'll be super expensive. If you had a monitor this size that was like 165 hertz, 86 inches, that would be insane. I guess that's the only other downside to this TV. It's only 120 hertz, which is way better than 60 and way more than good enough for casual gaming like this. But I just like a little bit more for FPS shooters to give that nice smooth movement. But I'm not sad. I like this, and it makes me want to build a PC. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it for whatever we learned. TVs aren't really that bad for using as monitors, I guess you'd say.